Sorry, I responded to a message. 1 second. I hope you guys have an amazing day today. Welcome in, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. I was supposed to say happy Tuesday, but it is not Tuesday. Um, so making sure that they didn't respond to me. So happy Wednesday to everybody. Happy hump day. I hope that y'all are having a great day, getting over the hump of the week, making it to Friday if you get the weekends off. And if not, I hope that whenever your off day is, that it comes swiftly and quickly and that you get there in a smooth transition. First of all, if you do not know who I am, hi, my name is Kay. I am a plant-based lifestyle strategist. I'm here to support you in knowing exactly what's going on with our body when it comes to inflammation and diving deeper into insulin resistance and making those connections and breaking that mold of what we all see as norm, which is common for a lot of people to have a lot of inflammation. It's common for people to have insulin resistance, and dive deeper into understanding how we are here to reverse what we have going on, knowing how to reverse. Because as somebody who's been plant-based for over 5 years, I have learned a lot about not only how my body responds and acts towards food, but also how to help others be able to be in the space of constantly supporting the body with the foods they eat, because I'm a health positioning architect. Okay, so I am here to help you understand how to help your body feel better, look better, have those symptoms released, have your body to calm and to be able to trust you. Because that whole framework about knowing your health position starts with you understanding where your symptoms are coming from. So that's the reason why I'm a health position practitioner, not practitioner, architect, soon to be a lot of other things. And my body was like, let me go on ahead and tell you one of them. So I want you to be able to not only stabilize your hormones, stabilize your insulin, but also be able to help yourself lower your inflammation. And so that's why I'm here to help you support you, and help you be able to shift in a short amount of time, not having quick fixes, but having those habit changes that support you fully. So today we're going to be talking about, like I said, inflammation and insulin, and making those connections and understanding what our daily habits are doing to our health. So if you were dealing with inflammation, if you were dealing with a body that you feel like is turning against you and you don't understand why, and you're trying to break that down, you're trying to understand, you're trying to really incorporate healthier habits in your life. Maybe you're eating those salads, maybe you are doing the diets, maybe you are taking the time and going to the gym every day, and yet somehow you're not seeing the results that you were looking for. I want you to, one, stay with me, be here for this live, and if you have to go, if you're going to miss any part of this live, it will be posted later on my YouTube. I post all of my past lives on YouTube. But also understand that these symptoms that you're having, the issues that you're having, are not random. They're fueled by inflammation and an insulin resistance. I was going to say reduction. Getting tongue-tied today. So I want you to understand clearly by the end of this live, to know what the body is supposed to feel like, understand the day-to-day experience of an average person, and learn why we have learned these habits, these tactics that are not supporting us in our health journey. Because many women that I work with and that come work with me in my program have the daily life of waking up tired, using caffeine to have that energy, right? Even before you nourish your body with actual food. You skip meals, you sit here and rush yourself through the day, or a lot of people eat 3 times a day and they're sporadic meals, and they do not support you in balancing your insulin through the day. So then by midday, you're shaky or you're foggy. You're having the issue of now you're having all these sugar cravings randomly through your day. In order for you to have energy, lunch is quick, it's unbalanced. You're trying to hurry up and get something fast because you have to go back to work, or you delay it because you're saying, well, I'll just fast until dinner, right? Thinking this is the healthy way for you to take care of your body, because fasting is healthy. Fasting is a good thing. But the problem is that we aren't taught how to effectively and correctly fast. And then during those cravings that you're having of sugar and carbs or something that's quick and fast, you sit here and you cave in because you haven't had any nutrients, nor do you see a way for you to get nutrients through your day. And so then now your dinner becomes something that is reactive rather than something that is planned, that has structure. It's not intentional. And all you use dinner is for is to fill your body to make it to the next day. So then guess what? Now your sleep is affected. And through that time, these women's sleep are affected and then they wake up and then they repeat the same cycle. That cycle is an inflammatory habit that they have every single day that has now turned into a lifestyle. And their blood sugar is unstable every single day. And it's playing out in real time based on the symptoms that you have of showing you that you were leading yourself down a path of having diabetes later on in your life. And we are not taught to make those connections. And so, since we wake up and we repeat these habits day to day, and you do this consistently or constantly for years on end, and then we sit there and we blame it on our body for aging. We blame it on our body and say that we're getting old, and this is a part of being old. This is a part of growing and living life. But it's not a part of living life, it's a part of your lifestyle. These are things that have been taught to you. And this is the reason why you go through that continuous cycle, that continuous ending of being tired, depending on coffee, choosing terrible meals, going back to sleep and doing it all over again, and having the repercussions of you being feeling sluggish, being tired, being bloated, having that weight that won't go away, having those cravings that you just can't figure out where they're coming from or knowing exactly what they mean. And so you have to simplify this process for yourself. You have to simplify your understanding. Simplify when your blood sugar spikes repeatedly, insulin is going to rise repeatedly. Simplify understanding what is going on, not by just gaining a bunch of information and knowledge, but so that you can break down the root cause and get to a solution. Not something that is a band-aid to help you manage it, but a real-time solution. And so when your insulin stays elevated, right? The body enters a stressed out state. And when your body enters this stressed out state and the body has the stress rising, this is going to raise your cortisol, obviously. But during that time that your cortisol is raised, you do understand that it's also going to increase your inflammation. And so your body is already in a panic state from your day-to-day habits, from what you just eat. And then now you have internal stress. And from that internal stress, now your inflammation is increasing. And during that time of your inflammation increasing, and you continuously eat 3 meals a day, you continuously eating your snacks throughout the day, you sit back and you wonder why your inflammation is so high and how you develop insulin resistance when you went to the doctor. But you see, when you look at your habits and you dissect them over the years, how the body is impacted, how the body has not been supported, and also how it has shifted for the worst. Because plenty of people think that it runs in their family to have some type of disease or illness, but it is common for people to have these things. It's not normal. And the reason why people suffer so much that they do as they get older is because the body has been working overtime for years and it's having to overcompensate. And over the years of it overcompensating and you not changing any habits, things are going to start shutting down. That's like you sitting there having a well-oiled machine and you don't oil it and you have it for 20 years. Eventually it's going to start wearing down and things aren't going to work as efficient as they did. And that's what happens to the body. Things are starting to wear down. And so this is how you understand the deeper concept of how the body interacts with your day-to-day habits and why people get older and why their body breaks down. Yet you see other people who can be in their 90s and they can run miles and they can do marathons and it does not affect them. It does not bother them because they took care of their body and they used it and they oiled it. Just like that well-oiled machine, or should be well-oiled machine that has worked for 20 years, their body has been oiled through that time period of them living their life and taking care of their body and being healthy, not just doing diet culture, but actually taking care of their vessel. And so you have to end the loop. And the loop is glucose stays in the bloodstream longer when you have an overload of inflammation, which is causing your insulin to respond incorrectly. And so then your insulin's having to work harder to try to overcompensate, to figure out what's going on. And the cycle is going to intensify. And so do you see how when you hit 30 or 40, all of a sudden you diagnosed with diabetes and you're trying to figure out why, or your doctor's telling you you're pre-diabetic, how it can happen? because blood sugar instability creates inflammation, and inflammation worsens your insulin resistance. And so, this is why I work with women who have been diagnosed or that are being told by their doctor, we're going to wait for 3 to 6 months and we're going to come back and we're going to look at your labs. We might have to put you on insulin, right? Because this makes you feel like your body is failing you, and it makes you feel like your body's turning against you. But in reality, it's just the breakdown of what inflammation is doing to your body and what it's showing up as. And it shows up in the beginning as bloating. It shows up as puffiness. It shows up as joint discomfort. It shows up as you having brain fog and fatigue. Insulin resistance is going to show itself up in a space of abdominal weight gain. It's going to show up in all the cravings that you have, the energy crashes that women feel. It's going to show up in the difficulty losing weight. It's going to show up in you constantly being hungry. You constantly having those energy crashes and then having the cravings after, or cravings before, energy crashes after. Excuse me, I said it backwards. And when these two exist together, which is inflammation and insulin resistance, the body is working overtime and it does not feel supported. So guess what? Now it does not trust your daily habits. Now it feels panicked. And it's not just you, and it's not you yourself. It is the habits that have been put onto you by society, by your family, what they've learned over the years and what they've taught you. It is not your fault, nor is it your body turning against you, but it is your body showing you this is not the path that we want to be on, and this is not how I want to be taken care of. It's just responding to your daily habits. And so this is why dieting does not fix this. This is the reason why many women don't understand how they can do so many diets and yet it's not sustainable. It's because your body is not asking for you to restrict calories and to count them and to cut out all the carbs. Your body wants balanced habits. Your body wants you to support it with you actually eating real whole foods. Not you sitting here thinking that if I eat less and cut more, this is going to work for me. Skipping meals, it's going to raise your cortisol. Your cortisol is going to be high, which is going to cause your glucose to rise. And a lot of people, like the people who are insulin resistant, for instance, don't have enough healthy habits in their day to stabilize their insulin so that way they can unlock those cells and use the glucose for energy. So what your body is doing is recycling glucose from those cells. And those cells are not dying off, but instead being redistributed throughout the body. That is not healthy. We all know, and if you don't know, if you were not taught this, but I think we were all taught this in education in general, if you have a body that is no longer replicating cells and making them in the space of healthy new cells, you do realize that means that you are causing cancer cells to have a place to thrive. And this is what's happening to a lot of people. You have old recycled glucose in these terrible recycled cells that should have died off. And now you have an issue of not only not having energy, but now your insulin is high and your glucose is being recycled. That's dangerous. And this is why so many people feel stuck on their health journey, because you're not fixing the true root cause. A lot of people are trying to fix their inflammation, right? Because you do extreme restriction. And then you have all this and metabolic stress, which is your metabolism. And so people are trying to build up their metabolism so it can be healthy when they're working out and they're cutting out all these different things and eating salads, right? But it's still causing an inflammatory response because your body's saying this still isn't helping me. You weren't getting enough nutrients on a regular day. And now we don't have enough calories either because your body needs calories to survive. And so this is why so many women feel stuck on their health journey, because you're trying to fix your inflammation while it's increasing. But it's because you have not given safety in yourself by understanding how to unlock that energy aspect. You have to support the body in feeling comfortable and safe. You have to give it a full plethora of safety, not a little bit here, a little bit of here, and playing this guessing game in between, but knowing how to break down each habit of the root cause of your issue and then get to a solution. because this whole quick fix fast of focusing on inflammation and weight loss has not worked to be sustainable. And we have that information in that observational research real time, because look at all the people who do keto or paleo or Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, and how it looks good and they feel good during that moment, but as soon as they quit doing it, what happens? They gain all the weight back. They don't feel as good as they did. They feel remorseful because they didn't stick with it. And then they talk about how their body looked so good when they were on that program and they have to get back to it. You should not have to get back to your health journey. You should always be on a healthy lifestyle. But when you're not taught how to have healthy habits to establish that lifestyle, you have this programming of thinking that taking care of your body is an option. When you don't feel good, this is the time for you to take care of your body. That's just like knowing that you're getting sick, right? You feel all the symptoms of you getting sick, but then you waiting until you literally get sick to the point where you have to go to the doctor. When you knew weeks ago you had a sniffle, you had a cough, you weren't feeling good, you were still pushing through and going to work, you weren't feeling the greatest and you threw up, and yet you're still going to work, you're still out and about, you're still pushing through. Instead of sitting down, understanding you're getting sick, and then getting to the root and figuring out how to fix it. And so habits shape your health. This is where everything will change for you when you understand the habits that support your health. Your metabolism does not respond to just having intentions and information. It responds to habits. It responds to the correct habits and the incorrect habits. So the symptoms that you have are reflecting your lifestyle. And so if you were here right now, first of all, on TikTok, and you were finding value for this, please tap the screen, like up the live. I really do appreciate it. It helps us get pushed out. But I want you to understand that what you do every single day with the foods that you eat, with the products that you use, and everything in between becomes what your body knows, what it recognizes, what it understands. And so your body is going to interact, or it's going to respond rather, to your day-to-day based on what you show it, what you give it. And so your body right now, if you are having all the symptoms that don't feel good, it has determined that you have unhealthy blood sugar patterns. It has determined that your insulin resistance is going to keep raising itself until you have diabetes. It's going to determine that you're not going to help me with my inflammation load. So at the end of the day, we're going to consistently keep eating all the foods that make me feel toxic. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for liking up the live. It's going to determine the fact that we're never going to have enough energy to support all of our organs, our cells, and everything else. So we're going to have to distribute as little as possible, but work overtime. And it also, for a lot of women, have determined that our symptoms are here to stay and our hormones are never going to balance. And since our hormones are never going to balance, we're going to consistently do quick fixes for a fast solution. They're never going to last. So I'm going to feel good for a moment, and I'm going to have to use that moment of feeling good. Thank you for the reposts. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. When you have structured habits, all of this shifts. Your daily habits from your body's interpretation are now determined to say, you know what? Our blood sugar patterns are really healthy, and we don't have a path of insulin resistance in our life. So guess what? If you eat this sugary snack today, it's not going to completely throw off your health journey and completely throw off your body and making you in a panic mode. Your insulin response is going to be healthy. So guess what? You are going to unlock those cells, use your glucose, and you will have correct energy production. Your inflammation is going to be balanced. It's going to be regular, or rather not balanced or regular, but it's going to release. It's going to be regularly released, because we've talked about this many different times. And if you're over my YouTube, or you've checked out my YouTube, you've seen that video, or you should go check it out. Talking about the duality of inflammation and how it works, and understanding that there is two sides to every coin, and inflammation has two sides as well. Because when you learn about it in, like, when you're talking about physical education, or you're talking about like working out, being healthy, being in the gym, right? how inflammation happens when you're breaking down a muscle to build it back up. And that's a healthy way of inflammation, as long as it's not causing an inflammatory response like pain in the knees and the joints and etc. But instead, it gives you those things like when you don't stretch correctly, soreness, which is a repercussion if you're not doing everything your muscles need, but that's a sign that you did break it down to build it up. And I talked more about that over on my YouTube, so if you missed that, go check that out. But these are what structured habits do. These daily habits help your hormones balance, helps your body feel safe, and it tells and reiterates to your body that I know what I know, I know what to do to take care of you because I know how to listen to you. Because that's the key, knowing how to listen to your body. Because having the symptoms or having a response is not a problem when you know how to listen, when you understand what it means, when you see the signs, recognize them, and know how to go back and fix them. And so this is what I do when I work with the women who are in my program. What are good daily habits? There's so many that would be really, really hard to list right now. That'd be really, really hard. But in my program, I break it down and I teach women not just this whole like band-aid structure, what they teach you in diet culture, but I give you structure that is step by step, well, rather band-aid stimulation, because we've talked about that before, and I like to use stimulation rather than structure because a lot of them don't even have structure, but I'm not going into that right now because we've talked about that, and I like to go into that, but that's a whole separate live about how stimulation over structure. I give structure, which is step-by-step metabolic connection. So this is us supporting your metabolism to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and to trust you when you eat. So breaking down the value of what is in the program and what women leave with when they work with me is blood sugar stabilization. So that's teaching them how to eat in a way that prevents you from having these spikes and these crashes. Having insulin regulation so that you create patterns that allows your insulin to lower and normalize itself every day when you eat, every single day using stabilizers. Having an anti-inflammatory lifestyle that reduces the daily input of inflammation in your life, keeps the body away from inflammation. And so I know that you said, what is a healthy daily habit or healthy daily habits? One of those things is focusing on an anti-inflammatory lifestyle if you have a number of symptoms that are coming from inflammation, if you have been diagnosed with a disease that is caused from inflammation, because majority of diseases are caused from inflammation, inflammatory responses in the body, and inflammation can be dealt with and released. So it's the matter of the habits that are keeping you away from that. And habit recalibration is a part of that program as well, because it is turning those behaviors that you had that were not supporting you once to supportive behaviors that become automatic habit patterns and structure. And then using food as your medicine by having meals strategically placed with structure, with those stabilization, like I talked about for your blood sugar, and not having those emotional responses or their reactivity to food. High blood pressure is something that's caused by inflammation. Yes. That is a disease. Same thing with diabetes, because it's caused from inflammation. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, pancreatic cancer, all those, any cancer in general is caused from inflammation. And I talked about this many different times of how, because inflammation is a breeding ground for cancer as well as parasites and all of the things that cause disease. And so the last thing, or not the last thing, but the last thing that is in that program that I have not mentioned is using food as your medicine. So understanding how we're going to eat away diabetes, which I have a cookbook that is called Eating Away Diabetes, and breaking down that structure of using meals strategically. Oh, no, I did say that. Just kidding. I did say that. I did say that because I get off on a tangent. So I have notes and I was like, no, I did already talk about that. But using it so that no longer emotionally eating and having reactivity to food, not playing a guessing game, but having a system to follow. And so when the changes that you were looking for, or rather the changes that have been searched for in diet culture, that you were now looking for in other spaces, because women are tired of diet culture. I know I was tired of diet culture, and that's what made me go plant-based. I was tired of diet culture. I was tired of people telling me to starve and to eat less of this and to be hungry and to suck in my stomach. I was tired of that whole diet culture mantra. And when I got away from it, I realized how unhealthy it is to think that you're going to starve yourself into taking care of your body. Thank you guys for the likes. I really appreciate it. Because when you implement structure into your daily lifestyle, your energy will stabilize, the cravings will decrease, your bloating will reduce, your weight will stabilize, your sleep will become regular and balanced and improve. Your weight will begin to shift in a positive light. Even for the women who don't want to lose weight, it's the matter of having a healthy weight. Because I have worked with women and talked with women who have been small all their life that are like, I want to go plant-based because I want to take care of myself, because just being small does not mean that I'm healthy, and I know that I'm not, but I don't want to lose weight during that time. And that is a possible thing, for you to not lose a whole bunch of weight and to be stick skinny and still take care of yourself. It's the matter of having enough nutrition in your daily life that will naturally have your body doing everything that it needs to either hold a healthy weight, gain weight, or to lose it. Because the body is a natural, miraculous design that does everything that it needs on its own when it's given enough oil, like we talked about, that well-oiled machine. And your focus is going to be so much better, because I talk to a lot of women who have issues with focus, like recollection. And when you get nutrients, your brain health will shift. Most importantly of all, your body will start responding correctly to you, and you'll stop feeling like it's a punishment every day of just having daily habits, a daily lifestyle, and just moving throughout your day. And so this is the reason why I created the Metabolic Reversal Method that is linked in my bio. That is my program. This program is going to give you that insulin resistance restoration protocol. It's going to allow you to be walked step by step through understanding your metabolism, stabilizing your blood sugar daily, lowering your insulin through habit patterns, and recognizing those habits, understanding why people emotionally eat, or you emotionally eat specifically, and knowing how to get rid of that stress in the body, giving yourself safety, reducing that inflammation, helping you build sustainable habits so that you can live this lifestyle long term, not just during the program time that you were there, but giving you that long sustainable health change and shift that keeps you in the lifestyle. Not just something that you do for a moment like a diet, but something that makes you realize how detrimental your habits have been, and see how important and impactful it is to be guided into the correct space. Not playing a guessing game, but having that step-by-step structure that I help the women that are in my program do. Because this is for the women who feel that inflammation and see those signs and know something isn't right exactly, and that are looking for a new trajectory, that are looking for something that is more than just a temporary fix, that are looking to build a new cycle of habits and have a healthy foundation. So if you were looking for my Metabolic Reversal Method, it is linked in my bio. You can go check out that program. If you guys have any questions for me, please drop your questions down. I'm here to support you. If you have any questions about that program, please drop them down. And if any of the links are not working, please DM me. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube, go subscribe to my YouTube. Be on my email list. I send out a Wellness Wednesday every single Wednesday, as well as you will also know when I go live. If you guys don't have any questions for me, you know what time it is. I'm going to go and do more back end work for everybody. I try to post, or I do post on YouTube every single week on Tuesday and Thursday. I try to go live 3 times a week here, and I try to post as well those days that I go live on TikTok. So if you are catching this later on YouTube, please drop any questions that you have down, as well as don't forget to go follow me on TikTok so you can catch me live in action. And if not, if you're over here on TikTok and missed anything, go subscribe to my YouTube. I appreciate you guys for all the likes. Thank you for all the gifts. I'm not seeing any more questions from you ladies, so I'm going to head out. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, and I hope that you have a great week. I will see you guys planned to be here tomorrow. Knock out that live, and if not, I'll see you on Friday. Have a good day, y'all. Bye. Peace.